welcome to Campus Currents, where we help you navigate the tides of campus living. My name is Leila Bunker.
And my name is Luca Del Carlo. Today, we're recapping Seattle University's top story from the second half of April.
Luca, look over there!
Is it a bird? A plane? A boom mic?
No, it's a Nova, and a super one at that.
Let's tune in to learn more about Nova, Seattle University's recent student design exhibition.
Hi, I'm Joey. I'm one of the co-directors.
I'm Erin. I'm the other director.
So this is Nova. This is our 2024 student design exhibition for students in the design program. You want to get into our creative process?
Basically we all divided up into different teams. We have like branding, installation, web design, and within those teams, like everything came together. So like installation, put up the whole gallery, the floor plan, everything.
Yeah, we've been in here this past week just installing everything, getting all of our work together, finishing today right before this. Yeah. So we're glad it all came together.
Yeah, and we're super excited about how everything came together, our whole class working together, and
Yay!
In honor of Earth Month, Students for Sustainable Action, or SSA, an environmental justice club with a long history on campus, ran a Revoke Coke campaign. Seattle U recently signed a contract continuing their partnership with Coca-Cola, which began in 2013, for another 10 years. According to SSA, the current contract requires 90% of the drinks sold on campus to be Coca-Cola products. SSA is pushing the school to end its contract with Coca-Cola. The company has been accused of unethical behaviors, including making use of child labor, breaking up unions, and environmentally unfriendly practices. Central to Seattle U's values and branding as an institution are values of sustainability and social justice. SSA sees the school's contract with Coca-Cola as out of step with these reported values. As of today, there has been no movement on the university's behalf to end their contract with Coca-Cola.
For the past 17 years, the National Film Festival for Talented Youth, or NFTY, has provided talented youth across the world with an outlet to present their work. With over 230 films from 26 states and 28 different countries, the festival provides filmmakers a welcoming entry point to the film industry. Anyone under the age of 24 can submit their work to NFTY, from middle school graduates to college graduates. Each of NFTY's 3 days features panels, keynote speeches, and showcases of short films centered around common themes. Attendees can see showcases of experimental films, music videos, and even unaired pilot scenes from upcoming television shows. Seattle U has an extensive history of sending filmmakers to NFTY. While submissions for next year's NFTY are not yet open, it is never too soon to start working on a film. For students looking to share their work, the Seattle U Filmmakers Club meets every Thursday in the Media Production Center.
Well, Leila, wasn't that story just nifty?
Sure was. Have you ever thought of filmmaking, Luca?
I prefer to think of life as its own kind of film. As Shakespeare says, all the world's a stage.
Shakespeare is dead.
So true.
You know who isn't dead?
Well, there's gotta be at least 20 people who aren't. How am I supposed to guess?
I'll go ahead and tell you. Sundborg. And he had a lot to say about his return to Seattle University. Let's listen.
After 3 years away, former president of Seattle University, Father Stephen Sundborg, is returning to his previous residence in the Arupe House on campus. Starting July 1st in the role of chancellor, he was president for 24 years until 2021 and taught theology at the school for 8 years before then. Chancellor is a position unique to Jesuit universities, traditionally reserved for former presidents who are also Jesuits. Though absent in recent years, having a chancellor isn't something new to Seattle U. The largest difference between Sundborg's previous role as president and his new position is that chancellor has no administrative responsibilities. Sundborg explained that he hopes to serve as a, quote, public Jesuit ambassador, end quote, for Seattle U, utilizing his experience and understanding of the school from his time as president, as well as his experience as a Jesuit priest.
From New York to California, Michigan to Texas, college students across the nation have pitched tents on campus lawns to protest the war in Gaza. The national movement was sparked by the Gaza Solidarity Encampment at Columbia University. Launched in late April, the encampment was created to call upon Columbia to divest from companies profiting from the Israeli government's war in Gaza. Since its creation, hundreds of students have camped out overnight on the lawn. While Seattle University hasn't set up an encampment, national events have certainly created conversation on campus. Considering that students attending private universities have fewer speech rights than students who attend public universities, some students believe that Seattle U's student speech policies are repressive, while administration believes they are necessary. The national discouragement of free speech across universities, public and private, has caused concern for students aiming to discuss controversial topics. The debate about the extent to which student speech should be protected is widespread, as America's universities once again find themselves at the forefront of free speech issues.
With the spring quarter quickly coming to an end, graduating students are caught between joy and anxiety. Soon, the real world they have been warned about is going to be upon them, and schedules, relationships, and postal codes are all going to be in flux. To combat nerves, Seattle University offers a number of resources to help students feel ready on their feet once they receive their diploma. Prominent out-of-classroom resources include the Career Engagement Office, the Mosaic Center, and the Office of Prestigious Awards and Fellowships. To aid students with the uncertainty about post-grad life, Mosaic has been hosting a 6-week program discussing the transition into adulthood. Deanne Liu, the Associate Director of Mosaic, has helped create the series, says, quote, "At the very least, the hope is to give graduating students a commonality in their anxiety," end quote. Whatever your plans are, completing undergrad is an exciting time, even if soon-to-be graduates don't feel entirely prepared to transition into post-grad life. Dedicating 3 to 4 years toward earning a degree is something to be proud of.
Hey, Luca.
Yes, Leila?
Did you know there's an abandoned nuclear plant not too far from Seattle?
Did not know that. No idea. What's it like there?
Well, let's learn a little more about it now.
To an onlooker, the rural and relatively impoverished Grays Harbor County seems an unusual place for a gigantic nuclear facility. Washington Public Power Supply System, or WPPSS, chose the region for its isolation, its environmental suitability, and most importantly, the need for jobs in the county. The agency chose to fund the plant with municipal bonds, seen at the time as the safest investment opportunity available. The fundraising effort would eventually raise WPPSS a staggering $2.25 billion for construction. But almost immediately, cracks in the plan started to show, due to federal environmental reforms, the 3 Mile Island nuclear meltdown in Pennsylvania, and huge, inexcusable cost overruns largely brought on by a lack of planning and testing before beginning construction. By 1981, WPPSS was in freefall. SATSOP's initial cost estimate of $4.1 billion had ballooned to over $24 billion. In 1983, WPPSS formally announced what bondholders had been dreading. They were never going to be able to pay back the $2.25 billion of bonds. Even now, 40 years later, it remains the second largest municipal bond default in American history. The skeleton of the plant sat still for the next several decades. The facility was eventually sold, first to the Grays Harbor Public Development Authority, and eventually to the Port of Grays Harbor. Beyond the unfinished nuclear facilities, the plant had also purchased access to vast quantities of water, power, and space, rights which were still ingrained in the property. These aspects attracted various businesses to the site, including a packaging company, a natural gas plant, a cannabis farm, and educational uses by Grays Harbor Community College. Progress has been mixed on the public opinion front. The pain of the economic damage wrought to the county is generational and still raw for many. However, the port is starting to turn around SATSOP's reputation. What was once a monument to governmental waste and irreparable economic damage to a tight-knit region is now a small but thriving community of businesses. Local citizens will never truly be compensated for the damage, but for the first time in 4 decades, SATSOP is giving residents of Grays Harbor County something to look forward to.
In places of historic destruction, it's beautiful to see regrowth.
It is. And the Pongo Poetry Project realizes just that focusing on poetry as a method to heal youth trauma.
Let's learn more about how art can be used as a medium for healing. At Pongo Poetry Project, a nonprofit founded by Richard Gold, art is a medium through which to explore childhood trauma and promote poetic healing. Focused on incarcerated youth and youth in the care of a psychiatric treatment, Pongo Poetry creates open spaces for these young individuals to write on topics that carry great emotional weight, providing a platform for healing and reflection. Pongo Poetry works at 3 different locations in the Seattle area: King County Juvenile Detention, Echo Glen Children's Center, and the Child Study and Treatment Center. At these sites, trained poetry mentors work with individual youth by providing them poetic devices and an open space to discuss whatever is on their minds or hearts. The youth that Pongo interacts with often come from instances of immense grief, shame, and trauma. Many have lived through life-altering experiences. Pongo Poetry Project is working towards a future where the arts are seen not as a hobby or extracurricular, but as a transformative method of exploration, reflection, and healing.
Originally the product of a frat's fallout at Seattle University in March of 2020, Pasta Eating Club has been dormant for several years. One of the primary features of the club, which the new executive board hopes to revamp, is the raising of funds for Seattle Children's Hospital. While most early members are connected in some way to the Center for Student Involvement, the club is open for anyone to join. Many of the larger clubs around Seattle U's campus are predicated on cultural ties or shared hobbies. Instead, Pasta Eating Club hopes to position itself as being open to anyone and easy to join. So far, meetings for Pasta Eating Club have been low-key and off-campus, mainly among a group of 10 or so friends. Meetings primarily come in the form of friends getting together on Sundays to eat pasta at someone's house. Pasta Eating Club has hopes to grow in size and host larger events in the future. If you're a fan of carb loading, you may just want to join them in their endeavors. That story has me hungry for some pasta.
Well, you're in luck, because we're about to hear a story about some yummy breakdancing. And let me tell you, these dancers have some real sauce.
I hope it's Alfredo.
It's not. The Book of Styles dance competition touched down in Seattle April 19th at the Octopus Bar for its Northwest qualifier. The event had dancers utilize a style known as popping, which originated in the 60s and 70s and focuses on hitting the beat of the music through acute muscle control. The Book of Styles was formed in 2012 by hip-hop collectives Urban Artistry and Funk in Focus, with the stated mission of preserving the art of street dance. In that spirit, dancers were given a style to learn or perfect 3 to 4 months in advance, and showcase their skills at the competition. Longtime popper Ryan Future Webb was a judge at the event and said the name of the game was to be expressive, stating that perfection is not a priority. In the end, Bryce Wonderbread, co-pool of the Vancouver Heavy Hitters crew, won the competition, earning a trip to the Book of Styles finale in Washington, D.C. in June.
Seattle U women's golf finally broke through this season, winning their first WAC title in program history on April 21st after finishing second in last year's championship. Led by WAC Player of the Year, Rebecca Jumagalova, the win was their 7th top 5 finish of the season. Although the Redhawks trailed going into the final round, junior Annika Cruz said she and her teammates stuck to the routine. This led to a sensational finale, with Cruz scoring an event-best 69 to put Seattle U in the front. Junior Ariana Morris credited the consistency of the coaching staff as a key factor to the Redhawks' success. They will need to carry that into the NCAA regionals, where they are the bottom seed as an automatic qualifier. The team finishes their last round at regionals today, and a top 5 finish would send them to the national tournament in Carlsbad, California later this month. Regardless of the outcome, it's been an unforgettable season for women's golf at Seattle U.
And that wraps up the Spectator's top stories in the second half of April.
To read all the Spectator stories, check us out at seattlespectator.com.
Stay current, Redhawks!